Hello, everybody. This is Billy Effick. I want to show you how to clone a virtual machine, a VMware virtual machine. The backdrop to this particular presentation is our Lab 7A, Cloning an Oracle Home. The original video was done with Linux, Oracle Enterprise Linux 5, but now we are going to use our sandbox to accomplish Lab 7A and B. And so the lab has been modified a little bit to allow you to take your current sandbox and clone it, delete the database, and use it for Lab 7A. Now I'm going to just quickly show you how to use VMware to clone a virtual machine. So we are going to clone our sandbox, and this will be used for your Lab 7A. So it's quite easy. If we take a look at the Lab 7A, cloning an Oracle home, we have the first task says power off your sandbox, and then using the virtual machine utility, clone the virtual machine and call the new name ptUAT server, ptUAT server, which we will use for Lab 7A and 7B. Eventually, we will use this particular server to upgrade Oracle 11G to 12C. Let's begin. So we have a server called ptSandbox. Let's go to our current server called ptSandbox, and the server is powered down completely, not suspended, but completely powered down. So I'm going to go to VM, I'm going to go to Manage, and I'm going to clone this virtual machine. The Clone Virtual Machine wizard comes up. Next, I'm going to clone the current state. I can clone a particular snapshot, but it's okay to clone the current state of this machine. I am going to do a full clone. Now, this is very important at this point. This is where you name the machine. And from the lab, it says to name the machine ptUAT server. I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to drop it right here, ptUAT server. Now, you need to browse to exactly where you want to put this virtual machine. Let me go to a particular disk where I want to put it, the location. I want to put it on my Z drive, which is 4 terabytes. You can put yours anywhere. I got a virtual machine folder on my Z drive. Now, it's important that you repeat the virtual machine name here. Otherwise, the files will just be scattered here and there in the virtual machine folder. So I'm going to put the name, same exact name right there, so that all the files that relate to the UAT server will be in one folder, UAT. When I click Finish, the cloning process begins. If I go to my Z drive to take a look at the folder, you see that ptUAT server has been created and the cloning process is taking place. So we're just going to wait for it to complete. And once it completes, I need you to remember that if you had a fixed IP address, the IP address of the new machine will change. We are going to also change the domain name for the purpose of the next lab. We are going to drop the database that is running on the machine. This will take 10 to 15 minutes to run. So the clone, the VM cloning is complete. And when I close this screen, automatically the UAT VM will come up. So the UAT VM will come up. I'm going to, so the UAT VM has at least 4 gig, exact copy of the sandbox. Now, if you have a little more memory, you can give it up to 6 gig. Let's go back to the lab and take a look at the next step. So, of course, the newly cloned machine will have the IP address and domain name configured for Sandbox. So we need to make all the appropriate changes. The root password is the same as Sandbox. Then we will change the Oracle password also. Now, these are the things that we need to change because we don't want to keep the exact same domain name with the Sandbox. Okay, we're going to change the IP address in the host file. We're going to change the domain name to ptstaging.domain. Okay, let's go power on that server. I'm going to go ahead and power it on. Okay, let's just quickly run through a few things while that is powering on. So we're going to change the IP address, the domain name as usual. We are going to change the host name, the domain name, which is the same as host name, with this command. And then we're going to restart the network. We will change the root password to class password UAT and the Oracle password to Oracle UAT. And then we will reboot the server and ensure that all that information stays in place. And once we have done that, we will proceed to remove the existing database FMIS from UAT server. All right, let's see, is the server up now? Yes, it's coming up. Okay, so we're going to log in as the root user. Root and password for root. Same password with the sandbox. Root okay, I'm in. Okay, let's find out about our IP address. Open terminal ifconfig. So this IP address is 192.168.1.242. Okay, let me make that connection from outside. So I'm going to just minimize the server. I'm going to make a mobile XTEM connection. Start SSH root at 192.168.1. Now, of course, you know your IP address will not be exactly the same with mine. Yours will be different. 242. 1242. Same password with Sandbox, but because I'm going to save the password, I'm not going to save it. I'm going to change it. Okay, so I'm logged in as root right now, and I need to fix my domain name. Let's see, host. I for insert. We're going to change this to 242. 242, and the domain name will not be that. I think I did copy it. There it is. Copy that. Now be careful how you copy stuff from a PDF straight into VI. You might pick up some funny characters. Be careful. I would normally drop it on Notepad first. All right, ptstaging.domain, ptstaging, ptdev server. That's our host name right there. And save that. Now I need to go to this file, sysconfig network, and change the host name there. vi etc sysconfig network, and I'm going to change the host name right here from the previous name. There we go. Escape. Save that. The next step will be to run the hostname command. Hostname ptstaging.domain. All right, done. Now we're going to restart the network. Service network restart. So we're restarting the network. Never mind this error, ignore it. If I log out and log back in, now it should say PT staging, right? So if I query the host name, it should say PT staging.domain. If I do a uname -a, I should get ptstaging.domain. So effectively I have changed the domain name as well as the IP address of the machine. Let's go ahead and change the root password. The new root password is given to us in the lab, ending with UAT. Right, I just changed the root password. Let's change the Oracle password. So that should be Oracle UAT. All right, done. Now, that's it about cloning a virtual machine. However, because we are going to use this machine for Lab 7A and B, eventually to upgrade 11G to 12C, we are going to drop the database FMIS that is already running on the box. To do that, first of all, we need to edit the previous domain name in the listener.aura before we can then start the listener. And then before we start the database. So of course we have to be logged in as the Oracle user, because I want to use DBCA to drop the database. I can drop the database without DBCA, but I want to specifically use DBCA to drop the database. Let's do that. Let's open a new tab. SSH Oracle at 192.168.1.240, and that will be Oracle UAT. You want to save the password? Yes. So we are in PT staging, and I'm going to go to the listener.aura change directory. Oracle home network admin. There is our listener right there, and VI listener .aura. I could use netca to do this. What is going on? I for insert. So the listener has the old name, the old domain name for extra door and for the listener. So what is the new domain name? Let's copy it from somewhere. I always prefer to copy paste than type it afresh. That way you are double sure of what you are copying and pasting. Paste that. Paste that. So we have changed. There it is. That last one is there. You might not have this listener, but whatever listener you have, make sure that the domain name is correct. Oh, I'm having an issue with the file system. It says file system full. df-h to check on that. df-h. I don't even have any wiggle room on this file system. That's 0 right there. All right, I can do something very quick. I can look for something to delete. Let me switch to the Oracle user. I would find something to delete. Change directory stage. Let's find something to delete. Okay, my stage is completely empty. How about the backup for my FRA? Change directory that. Oh well, I do not need it. I'm just going to remove that. Remove by force. FMIS is a little distraction from where we are going. Okay, that increased my home directory, but I need to remove something that has to do with the /U01. Let me go to my data pump directory where I suspect there could be something in there. Let me find starting from U01, find for me any file that has the DMP. Find for me all the DMP files. There they are. Okay, so at least I can know. At least I know I created this one, so I can delete that. I don't even know how large that is. Remove. Remove that dump file. Let's check again. That should give me, oh wow, I'm still at 0. Okay, I can find audit files. Oh, let me look for uppercase DMP. Any dump file? No. Let me look for audit file. AUD. AUD. Well, this is not what you do in production environment. We would have had scripts that anticipates this issue. I can automatically delete this. Oh, by the way, why don't I just delete it in a very cool way? I wanted to copy this into Notepad and then delete them. But why don't I just show you something very cool? This is a little distraction from what we are trying to accomplish, but you will learn something right there. So this command will find all trace files that are older than 3 days and then exclude this folder, exclude anything that shows this folder, and then exclude this one that shows this folder, and then delete them. Now another way to do that is this. This will find all audit files, trace files beyond 3 days old, and then delete them. Okay, this is the one I'm going to run. It's a long Unix command, but you want to pause this video and take a good look at it. Like I said, in a real production environment, there will be some kind of script running to check usage, space, and space-related usage. df-h That didn't remove anything. I know what. I just go to Oracle base FRA, the seed, Oracle base FRA, the database was FMIS. So we have backup sets and archive logs. Let me check on the backup sets. There is a backup there. I actually do not need this database, so I don't need this backup taking up space. So I just removed that. Let's see how much space I've got. Okay, I got 1.6 gig. 1.6 gig. Because of what we want to accomplish, I think I will extend this video to show you how we are going to recover a lot of space. Of course, by the time we remove the database, we will gain space. All right, now I can right quit. So now I can start the listener, control, start the listener. I don't need too many listeners. One is enough. Now here, I can start the database, SQL plus / as sysdba. I'm starting the database. Again, this database can be dropped manually, but I want to show you how to use DBCA to drop this database. We are dropping the database on the UAT server because we want to use it to clone the 11G database. Okay, this is a problem associated with space again. The database mounted, and let's find out the status. Select status from $, instance not connected, so the database didn't even start. Okay, let's do this. I know what it is. The FRA is full. Connected to our startup, no mount. Startup, no mount. Let's take a look at the FRA parameter. Show parameter DB recovery. So it's 8 gig, but we don't have up to 8. We don't have up to 8 gig on the disk file system. But just so that this database will open, I'm going to increase that. Alter system set when you have a situation where the disk is full, one of the first errors you are going to get is audit file destination. So I have done that. Alter database, mount it. So now the database is mounted. Now I can actually go to rman target / and I say list rman target / list backup summary. The fact that we manually remove that backup doesn't mean it's gone. rman still has that information in its metadata repository. So I'm going to cross-check backup. It said some backup are expired. Delete no prompt expired backup. No prompt means I don't want to be responding to yes and no's. So it deletes all that. So I'm trying to make space. Database is mounted. Let's attempt to open it. Alter database open. Database is open. Now I'm going to use dbca to drop this database. dbca database configuration assistant, dbca. dbca comes up. It is 12C. So we're going to delete database. Next, FMIS, yes. Next. I'm going to remove this username so that the DBCA will use, I was expecting it to use OS authentication, but let's put the sys password for FMIS. Hopefully I remember it. So DBCA is connecting with the database FMIS. And in a moment right now, it will give us the options. Okay. It wasn't registered with cloud control. Now we are going to delete this database. Are you sure? Yes, we are sure. Make sure that the database you are deleting is on PT staging, which is our UAT server. This shouldn't take long. While it's running, let's take a look at the next task. So we're gonna delete database and it's running. And once it finished running, we then can proceed with lab 7A to set environment variables. And we are going to call the database ptdev1. Even though in the other videos you are going to watch, it's going to be called ptdb, but in this new lab, it will be called ptdev1 because we are planning to upgrade this database to 12C. This is going to be an 11G database, which we will upgrade to 12C. Let's take a look at, all right, database is deleted. And now we should have a lot of space on this server. We now have 14 gig. All right. That concludes the cloning of the virtual machine sandbox to UAT server for the purpose of lab 7A and 7B. Thank you.